Hey man, good to have you on the Discord. We're going to go and break down your backside 360 to figure out how we can go and get it to the next level. So looking at the video, I can tell that you've been watching the videos, you generally know what to do, and you're really close to implementing it. There's a few things that are holding you back right now, which is why it's not feeling like it could. The main one being your in run. So see here how as you're on your in run, your flat base, and then you're sort of moving to a flat base toe edge, and this is making it so your board is turning this way. So even though you're trying to open your hips, your board is now angled in the opposite direction. This is what's making it so you're slidey and you don't have a good platform to generate rotation from. What you actually want to be doing is making sure that you have toe edge well coming up and winding up for your takeoff, because that will help give you traction and grip coming up the jump. And then in order to go and do this properly, we make sure that our board is slightly angled towards the right corner. Because if you put in toe edge with your board angled straight, it's going to make it so you're more likely to shit hook off, and that's going to make it so you drift more. So let's go and talk about how you can fix that, and then we'll go over the changes you can make in the air to make it a little bit smoother and easier for you. So the first thing is, this is just not intense enough of a heel side position. If we go and look at the differences, the first one we'll notice is that I'm a lot more bent down in my body, a lot more hinged down, and this is doing two really important things. First, it's making it so I have my weight completely stacked over my board, and second, it's letting me get a little bit of heel pressure that doesn't rely on leaning. So that's why we're adding this more bend to our body, so we can go and get that heel pressure before dropping in. The other thing I'm doing is making sure that my back arm is pulled towards my front hip, and then my front arm is also pulled towards my front glute. This is going to make it so my hips are opening, my chest is opening, and that's going to help me go and get my angle slightly towards the corner of the jump. So this position, even though it looks like it isn't very much bend, I'm really bending my body here. I like to think about like Japanese Euro carvers, how they're going and carving up the slopes, getting really down low. That's sort of the same idea. The lower you can get, the less sideways momentum you need to have in order to get onto that heel edge. So for you in this position, I want to see a couple of things. First, I want to see this front hand pulled all the way towards your front leg. This is going to open your chest and help open your hips, helping your board get angled towards the right corner of the jump. Next, I want to see you go and let your upper body come forward and your legs go back so you can have more weight set onto your heel edge. We want a gradual heel edge turn the whole way through the transition. If we go all the way back to the start here, let's see. So see how you're just like sort of casually on your toe edge, then somewhat shifting to your heel edge? I want this to be way more aggressive. Aggressive at the start so you can slow it down later. So aggressive toe edge, switching to aggressive heel edge position, just like I'm doing here. See how I'm getting to the side of a jump, building up my range on the slope in order to do my setup carve, but I'm aggressively squatting down into this heel side position instantly. The sooner you squat down to that heel side position and get your board angled, heel edge in place, the sooner you can start standing up and getting it taller. Or if we look at your weight here, it's completely set over a flat base, and that's where you're coming into the jump pretty much straight and without much traction. And if you don't have much traction, it's going to be really hard to open those hips. So then your timing for the spoon is really good. The time you're actually trying to get on your toe edge is really good. Your time for your wind up is really good, but you just can't go and hold a tall body because you don't have that toe edge, and that's why we're seeing this arm drop. And that's why you're not feeling comfortable putting power into a spin. So considering that, you're actually doing a really fantastic job with this takeoff. I really like that both your arms are coming out, your head position and your board angle are all really superb. If we go and compare the two, I'd say your takeoff angle here is actually better than mine in this clip. You're making a little bit more solid tail pressure. Your shoulders are in a really good position and your head's in a really good position. The only difference that we can really see with the head is notice how mine's spotting a little bit forward where yours is spotting already back at the takeoff. The reason why this is a little bit not ideal is because this is going to limit the range of motion you can follow through with your upper body. So here, watch my head position as I come off the lip. I'm coming around, popping, and then see how my head continues pulling the spin through. This is actually where the most of my rotational energy is coming from. It's just this little bit of head movement from looking somewhat straight over here and then pulling it around. Where because you're going and having your head rotate a little bit sooner, so the fact that you're leaving off the takeoff with your head already angled here, you don't have much room of rotation with your upper body in order to continue that momentum. That's one of the reasons why we're seeing it you go and not have like the ability to keep the back arm leading the whole way, is just because you're using up a little bit of your range of motion. So my recommendation for this is to go and just try keep your head spotting a little bit straighter and throw your arms a little bit less. We're still trying to throw them the same amount, but a little bit less early. And that's just going to make it so you can do the same range of motion. So if you left off the takeoff in this position, but then continued your upper body's momentum through this position right off the takeoff, that's going to carry through so much more speed. Where we can see right here, you're snapping, and then watch your back arm. It's sort of staying in the same spot for a second, and then you're utilizing counter rotation right off the bat. So this is telling me that you're sort of using all of your rotation right off the bat here, and you're not really continuing it as you go through the lip. So you can go and slightly delay the snap and then carry this through. So this is your position leaving off the takeoff. Then you continue that, and that's going to really help you channel that rotation through. Other than that, it's just really important to make sure that your back arm is leading the rotation. One of the main reasons you're struggling with this, if we go and really look at it, is because of how tall you are in your spine. See how you're completely tall over your board? This isn't too ideal because we actually want to make sure that our upper body is coming forward in the correlation to like the bend in our legs. This is going to do a couple things. First, it's going to give us way more range of motion to work in our upper body and in our legs. Second, it's going to make it so our head being naturally tilted down is going to give us way more vision. Here, see how your neck strength needs to lean forward and then you're needing to artificially go and add a tilt to your chin, where the position of my upper body is making it so my head's naturally going here, and that's going to just let me keep my axis rotation more over the balls of my feet. If you want to get powerful rotations and backside spins, you need your rotational weight to be set over the balls of your feet, because if it's set to flat base, you're going to risk dumping over your shoulders if you try to generate more power. So how do we fix this? As you're coming up the lip, again, just delay that snap a little bit, and then I want you to go and let your legs come up and let your upper body go forward a bit more in correlation. Let's see. So like right here would actually be a pretty proper position to do the rotation in, and then if you want to bring up your legs more, like hit a grab or something, I don't think you need to grab right now, but just for example, then you would just go and push out the hips more, bring up the legs more. But see how you have this a little bit of tilt in the upper body, a little bit of hinge in the wrist? That would make it so your spot could be angled down a lot more naturally. You're just going and popping and extending out of it and then not re-entering it because you're utilizing counter rotation right away. And counter rotation means you're coming in and you're pulling your arm across your body. When you do this, it will accelerate your spin but slow down your maximum spinning momentum. And that's why we only really want to use counter rotation for the last 90 of a rotation. So I'm using it here. You can see I'm at 180. And then I'm slowly pulling my upper body forward. But you're just utilizing counter rotation right off the bat. And that's why as you come into the landing, you don't really have that little bit of micro control and you're susceptible, and that's affecting your adjustment. So final recap, it's looking really good. You're getting a lot of principles, but this takeoff is going to be the biggest thing holding you back. Let's go and really exaggerate, adding that bench of legs, getting on that heel edge, getting your front arm open so you can get your board slightly angled to the right corner of a jump. And that way you can hold that angle the whole way, and then transition to your toes and actually grip in, and that's going to let you stay a lot more strong. Versus what you're doing right now, it's sort of like this. So that's the difference I want you to make on the setup carve. Your timing and wind up and everything look good. And then as you switch to your toe edge, you need to make sure that as you're opening your hips, you're keeping your board angled this way. You can't let your board come and angle this way out of correlation because that's going to throw off your balance. So think about standing tall and standing the line, and your takeoff angle is over here, not over here. That's going to just really open up your range of motion and stability. And other than that, wind up, you're getting a little crunched down. I think that's just because of a setup carve, but ideally we want to keep this hand going, staying up this way and not rounding in our spine right at this point. So try to keep this arm a little bit higher, a little bit straighter. And then as you snap, your snap is actually really good. Let's just delay it a little bit, and then let's focus on, instead of counter rotating, just leading with that back arm, super casual, letting your legs come up to you, and then once you get to this point, then you can utilize counter rotation. So yeah, nice work, dude. Let me know how that goes, and we'll tackle any other problems that come your way.